Hey guys, welcome to Big Loz Official. So a little bit of a different one today. We've just been watching Thor Bjornsson versus Stephen Ward. Thor's first ever time stepping into a boxing ring, against a professional as well. Thor is an amateur. We know how good a strongman that he is, but he admits himself he's a complete amateur. I was a little bit nervous for him stepping into this. I know he's kind of, he was a bigger man, but Stephen Ward is a professional boxer, and obviously this is all leading to Thor versus Eddie later in the year. So we're not professional sort of in boxing. I'm a boxing fan. You enjoy watching at the odd sort of bigger
I watched
boxing
the big
event.
Fights,
But how did you feel watching Thor then?
Anxious.
I did as well.
Just anxious for Thor because obviously he's a friend and. No, I don't see anything terrible happen. Honestly, I'm more nervous about doing the reaction to this video than any other video. I made the stupid mistake of reading the comments. And there's something about the Thor versus Eddie thing that brings out the crazy in people.
Oh, I know.
I
didn't have a look at the comments. I was just watching.
I think it's best you don't. And I hope Thor and Eddie don't read them because they're pretty awful, to be honest.
I mean, one thing from a personal perspective, I feel really sad that we've lost these two guys from the strength world. So from sort of just focusing on the strongman perspective, and Eddie retired after his World's Strongest Man win. He did everything he wanted to achieve.
Which he always said he would do. So. Yeah.
Thor, I feel, is a bit more of a loss. I really feel Thor, if he stuck with strongman, could have gone on to be the greatest strongman of all time.
Yeah.
I think he was, even though it took him so long to win that first Worlds, he really has been for the last few years the best strongman on the planet. I don't think anyone can argue that. We've got some amazing guys. Some of these new guys are awesome, but Thor for the last couple of years was literally the strongman.
Yeah,
and obviously he did the 501 kilo deadlift, and if you've seen my other videos, it was I think it's an incredible lift, but I still believe Eddie is the greatest deadlifter for what he did.
Don't get into that again, for Christ's sake.
And they're just my personal views.
Yeah.
It's not a I like Eddie or an I like Thor kind of thing. We've all got our own views about things. I don't let personal feelings come into who I think is better at something. But I do feel like it's a loss for strongman.
Yeah.
That being said, I admire both of these guys in terms of just athletic ability and the willingness to put themselves out there, because a lot of you guys watching, a lot of the guys, I'm obviously I didn't look at the comments on the live stream.
You can imagine though, can't you?
And
to put yourself out there like that is
well, let's be honest, like most people that and I've had it before, and every athlete gets it, but these guys put themselves in a position for us at home to sit there and watch and criticize. Now, I've got a little bit of experience in combat sports. As a junior, I was British champion at Kung Fu. I understand what it's like to be in a competitive environment. And it's tough to put yourself out there and have all these people criticise. But both of them, you've got to admire both men, not just, Thor, but both men take it on the chin.
Oh, yeah,
and,
they do.
And they have this inner belief and this inner determination that makes them such great athletes. And one thing that I've really admired with Thor on this journey is his willingness to think, right, he was the greatest strongman at that moment. He's put that aside. Personal, I've said it's devastating for strongman, and me as a strongman fan, I'm miss seeing him in the strongman world. But the respect I have for him as an athlete to think, right, I'm going to start afresh. I'm going to go into boxing and I'm going to start from the bottom and work myself up. I'm not going to use my sort of celebrity, if you like, just to build up this one big fight. He's taking on a professional boxer tonight. I know they're friends and it's an exhibition match, so it's not like you're trying to kill each other.
No.
But he's trying to learn to become a boxer.
Yeah.
Now, there's loads of things we could sit here and criticise in terms of technique. He's swinging away, his arms were dropping. But the guy is improving and getting better. And he's lost like 60 kilos.
Yeah, that's just...
you think when he did the 501 deadlift...
That's almost me. That's crazy, isn't it?
Well, that 501 deadlift, he weighed, I think it was 205 or 208 kilograms, and he weighed in tonight for tonight's fight at 156 kilos.
Wow.
And he still looked massive.
He's 2 kilos lighter than you right now.
Jesus.
That's
I need
crazy,
to shed some pounds. But it was an interest, it was never going to be a masterclass in boxing.
No.
But I don't know, like people watching. I've been to watch friends have kind of exhibition boxing matches. You know, you have the blue collar and white. They're it's you know, just as an amateur stepping into the ring.
Yeah.
I thought he did great. I've seen a lot worse.
Yeah,
I've seen an awful lot worse.
I've seen a lot worse from people that have been training for a lot longer as well. So when you consider it's 6 months training, he is a complete amateur. 6 months is no time at all compared to these guys that have been doing it probably since they were young kids. So he really is an amateur. I thought he did well, all things considered. I admire him for putting himself out there, like you said.
That's the big thing.
To go from the absolute top and pinnacle of the sport to, you know, you're almost setting yourself up for embarrassment or ridicule. But
it's tough on the boxer as well. Like Stephen Ward is a European champion, a former European champion at a lighter weight. He's moved up to cruiserweight now. He's still giving away a lot of weight. But he's a tall guy, and it cracked me up because Carl Froch, one of the commentators, kept calling him Big Steve.
Yeah,
Steve. He looks a little bit small in there, but you know, in the
sure,
boxing,
in real life, he is quite big. Yeah,
but obviously Thor is just a mountain of a man.
Yeah,
he really
he is.
I mean, you've obviously seen him in real life. You know how big he is.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm a big man. You know, I've been next to Thor, and you do feel
he makes you look small, doesn't he?
But I've got to say, I admire what he did tonight,
Yeah.
and I admire his willingness to learn.
Yes.
That's what really, you know, fascinates me with this. When you watch the sort of the two of them, because like Eddie's like, I'm not going to fight. You know, I'm training hard, and you see him, he's training hard, but he doesn't look like he's training like a boxer.
Well, to be honest, I haven't watched either of their training just because, honestly, training for a boxing match doesn't really interest me. But I would love to see Eddie in the same position now, to do the same sort of thing, you know, exhibition fight in the run-up. Just because I think it's impossible to compare without him doing something like that.
I totally agree.
Impossible to predict. I know people have very strong feelings in the comments about who's going to win and who's going to knock who out. I would be amazed if either of them knock each other out, personally. I would. I just don't think that's going to happen. I think it's going to be a bit ugly. And
what's going to be interesting, I think, is when we find out how many rounds they're going to go.
Yes.
Things like, because watching Thor tonight, 3 rounds was a good amount of rounds.
Yeah, that was
you could see
spot on.
Stephen Ward was starting to take control a bit more.
He was pissed off about that punch in the shoulder.
Yeah, Thor knocked him down by punching him in the shoulder. But you know, you could see the skill level and the fitness level. And you know, you can be as fit as you like, but if you're 150 kilos, you're going to struggle to. And again, this is like, you know, I know there's going to be loads of people criticising them all, criticising Eddie, criticising Thor,
criticising you,
probably criticising me. But if you've never been in that situation, you need to keep quiet sometimes. You know, I've done, you know, I was British champion at Kung Fu. I've done a lot of sparring in the past. If you've ever just done a 1 minute round on some pads, you are gassed.
Yeah, you've made me do it, and it's awful.
Now, I mean, it just gives you it shows you the fitness level of top level fighters when they're going like 12 rounds.
And that's just pad work. It must be 10 times worse when someone's trying to punch you in the face. Thankfully, I've never been in that position.
Being punched in the face, being punched in the stomach is even worse when they take your wind out of you. Yeah. It's a horrible feeling.
Constant bracing, constant movement, constant
thinking. If you get punched and you're winded, if you've never been winded before, it's the worst feeling.
I've been winded, not through a punch, thankfully, but I have been winded.
People are going to be asking if Uncle Oz is hitting you.
No. I think I'd be dead if you punched me in the stomach.
I think it's fair to say that doesn't happen.
That doesn't happen.
But, you know, we're going to build up to this fight in September, it is, in Vegas.
Yeah.
And now the Strongman show has been announced the night before, so it's going to be an awesome weekend for strength fans.
Yeah.
Like I said, there is a bit of me watching Thor there that the Strongman in me is just like, I'd love to see him come back to Strongman. Yeah. You know, you
fight it out over the deadlift.
Yes. Those two head to head on a deadlift. That's what everyone would love to see. But unfortunately, we're not going to get that.
We take what we can get.
We're going to get them head to head. And you know, I admire both men. I really do. From an athletic standpoint, they're both very driven, and you can just see with Thor today. No, he's not a professional boxer.
No, he would never claim to be either.
No, and I don't even think Thor's like a naturally aggressive fighter. You know, some people I'd probably say Eddie's more of a natural sort of fighter, but Thor's an athlete. and you can see that, and there's thought process, and despite the swinging with the arms, and you could see there was pretty good,
isn't it?
there was pretty good kind of range and movement in there for such a big man. Let's remember how many guys that weigh 150 odd plus kilos, 160 kilos.
Could last 1 3-minute round, let alone 3. Yeah.
Fair play to the man.
He's a lot fitter than I am. Jesus.
I'm a lot fitter than you, dear. But I despite the kind of nerves watching there, I enjoyed it, and it seems like a good rapport between Stephen Ward and Thor. I think they're probably going to work together.
Sort of very respectful.
There's no sort of winners and losers in an exhibition.
No. A lot of people maybe not a lot of people, maybe a few people shouting very loudly saying it's fixed. What do you think about that?
Well, it's an exhibition match, so there was no sort of winners and losers.
No.
It was it's like a hard sparring session.
Yeah.
It's not going to go down as like a professional bout, if you like.
No.
It's the first time he's been in the ring. I don't think it was fixed. Like Thor was bleeding profusely from the face at the end.
I can't imagine the point in fixing a fight like that either.
There's no hate.
I don't see who that benefits.
There's no fixing going on.
No.
It's like sparring a friend. You're not trying to kill the guy.
No.
It's the skill that you're trying to develop.
Teaching him a lesson.
I think at the end you could see Stephen was like, I've got to show that I'm the better boxer.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's pressure for him because like everyone's like, oh, Thor's, he's got the fight against Eddie, but Stephen Ward is a professional boxer.
Yeah.
There's a lot of pressure.
It's hard for him because it's like, I don't think he'd own any respect for killing Thor.
No.
Do you know what I mean? Because it's like, well, God, mate, this was his first fight. What are you doing to him?
Can you imagine someone coming into like a strongman show, and you just kind of blow them, you blow them out of the water.
Yeah.
It's tough. I think Thor did great. I really do. Huge respect to the dedication that's he's put in to transform himself from that 500 kilo deadlifter, and let's remember how impressive that feat of strength is, to then 6 months later be 156 kilos. That shows the mentality of the man.
Yeah, definitely. And think, how sort of a bit nervy you felt watching that. Think about the atmosphere when we're going to be there, aren't we, in Vegas in September. Think, oh my God, my heart's racing just thinking about it. It's going to be tense, isn't it?
It is.
Because Eddie and Thor genuinely don't like each other. It's going to be like, oh shit.
Yeah, tonight was just like, you could see their mates. They hugged it out at the end.
It's quite casual. Yeah.
I'll tell you one thing, you got to give Eddie the win on the shit talking and the smack talking.
Oh yeah, Thor's
he's not a smack talker.
He's no Conor McGregor or anything like that, is he? Bless him.
But it's going to be interesting to see,
definitely.
whether this weight loss helps, whether the next kind of
just see how he progresses. And he indicated that wasn't the only.
He's looking at doing like 2 or 3 before the fight against.
Great to see Eddie do the same, even just once. It'd be nice to see.
Yeah,
especially in terms of like making a prediction. I think right now it'd be really hard if we don't see him fight.
I honestly think it's so hard to predict because they're, you hear it from like the commentators and stuff like that, but it's hard to predict.
They've got no history in the sport, have they?
No history in the sport. They don't box with normal boxing sort of technique, so they'll do random things that like a boxer wouldn't expect. They're both so big and powerful that if one does connect, it's going to be interesting.
Painful, but they're also so big and powerful. Maybe they can withstand much more than
they can. I mean, they're both nowhere near as strong as they were in terms of strongman. I'm interested to see what the actual rules of the fight will be. Is it going to be a 3-round fight? Will it be more than that? Because that's all going to
be a bit more than that.
Well, one thing I was impressed with Thor, he didn't just go in there and just try and sort of finish it in 1 round.
No.
And people have been saying that the guys are going to do that. I think they're too professional to do that. They're both too smart.
Yeah.
People might say you can't call strongmen smart for stepping into a boxing match. Well, these guys are making a lot of money, way more money than a lot of boxers are. So it's a weird one, the boxing world right now, with all these sort of celebrity fights, if you like. But you have to remember, they're not trying to be pro boxers.
No.
They're not trying to like beat the likes of Tyson Fury.
No,
we know
that.
those guys would kill them.
Yeah,
but they're trying to be the best that they can be.
Yeah.
The fact that they've been so good at another sport and then to just give that up and focus on something else,
it's quite fascinating. Though,
it is,
isn't it,
and I'm really interested in just watching the next few months and seeing how they both develop, seeing kind of what kind of weights they come in at. Is Eddie going to, Eddie lost a fair bit of weight initially, and then he sort of stayed around the 165 kilo mark. Thor's still coming down.
Yeah.
Is he going to keep coming down?
There's got to be a limit. Oh my God, can you imagine Thor at like 100, even 120 kilos? I think would be quite shocking.
I can't see him getting to that kind of weight.
But the amount of muscle he carries, it was bizarre.
he looked physically different, He looked a lot more athletic. In the face, he's a lot slimmer. But yeah, for anyone that said it was fake, you could see there was a fair bit of blood on him at the end.
Fake,
so if maybe they're going for the wrestling kind of blood.
Yeah.
But did you enjoy it? You kind of...
Yeah, no, I did enjoy it, I've never really paid much attention to exhibition matches before, but when someone you know is in it, may as well watch.
I've watched a few mates do like local fights and stuff, and it just felt a bit like that, but on a bigger scale.
Yeah, it's fancier looking, but it's certainly...
I'm sort of scared to say it, but let us know your thoughts down below, guys. Obviously, Strongman is what we focus on here, and the strength world, but obviously with two...
Oh, we won't pretend to be boxing
We're not going to be bringing you boxing results every week.
No.
But hopefully you've enjoyed our little review of Thor's first boxing match. I got to say, congratulations to both of them. Anyone that has the balls to step into the ring, they deserve respect. So bear in mind that when you kind of, leave your comments, guys.
Yeah.
But we'll be back sticking to what we're good at next time. I hope you enjoyed the review. We'll speak to you guys soon. While you're here, guys, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of my awesome strength content.